Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? It is Monday. That means it is time once again for the Making Mogul Show. I am Vijano, and I am one half of the Baking Mogul Show. And tonight we gonna talk about something different. Unfortunately, my guest is not here at the moment, but I had a show planned about the cannabis industry, and so I'm gonna talk about the cannabis industry because that's exactly what I plan to do today. Um, Shout out to Xtreme 104 FM. Shout out to Dime. Shout out to the whole Maker Moguls team. Shout out to the whole Maker Moguls family. Shout out to Xtreme 104 FM once again, and let's get into it. I guess my small win for the week would be showing up on time today. That was a great thing. Made sure I scheduled, took care of a lot of personal things, and I scheduled it so I could be here on time and be ready with you guys. Unfortunately, the computer and other technical situations had me not come on at 7, but I'm still happy that I showed up on time. Showed up early, actually. So that's where we are. So 4 days ago, the licenses for the first licenses for conditional use marijuana were released in New York State. I had to figure out the exact wording for that, um, which means that I don't know if you guys know, but let's start from the beginning. Cannabis was legalized in New York in 2016, I believe. It was decriminalized. No, cannabis in New York was decriminalized in 2016 and legalized in 2020. There we go. I know my facts. April 2020, which means that you no longer will be arrested for less than 3 ounces. Anything that they can give you is a ticket, um, and that they will start to repair the damage that they've done by incarcerating, especially black and brown folk, using cannabis as their felony point to lock up and create felons out of millions of people because this country has an obsession with jail, and the for-profit prison system, which is a whole nother topic that we won't get into now because then we will be here and it'll be a very sad day. But we don't want to talk about that. Um, and in 2020, they set the guidelines for what is to become the framework for the guidelines, which are now they're creating the guidelines for what is to become the future of the cannabis industry in New York. For those that don't know, cannabis is only legal on a state by state case basis, which means it's federally still illegal, which brings a whole slew of its own problems. But what that means is that cannabis, wherever it's legal, can only be sold in the state by companies within the state. Like cannabis cannot cross boundaries for the purposes of legality because then it becomes a federal crime. And so New York State opened its first cannabis market. But the problem is there was no one licensed, or there hasn't been any official legalization in terms of how the sale and production of cannabis can go on until 4 days ago, where they released their first conditional licenses for the first set of people to be able to join in the cannabis industry and start to open dispensaries and start have their grow operations and any other space. I think it's mostly in those two spaces, in the grow operations and in the retail side of cannabis. um, in fact, the cultivation one was released a little bit earlier, but what that means now is we are first getting to see a look at what getting into the cannabis space will look like here in New York State. Um, and the guidelines have released. I'm actually going to pull up some of the guidelines so we can talk about it because I feel like if you want to get in the cannabis industry, the first thing that is most important is the knowledge and the information, because making sure that you are well aware is most important. And so, hold on, once I find these guidelines, I'm gonna pull them up. But one of the things that is part of the guidelines um, is that you have to have a business running for at least 2 years to be able to show that you have actual business acumen, because this is, they expect high yield revenue. The taxes are going to be pretty high on this product as it comes into the market. So yeah, if you're trying to get into the cannabis industry, understand that from now, that is, it's a very high tax situation. So you're that's one of the reasons why they want to make sure that you have business experience. And so that's one of the requirements. You have to have that business experience. And the first preference comes to people who are who have a cannabis, like a record, a federal record for cannabis. Like if you have a record being arrested for cannabis use, cannabis sale, you are first in line to get the license, which I think is a good thing, because I don't think we need anyone. Like, I mean, all the damage that's been done in the cannabis space through the war on drugs, through mass incarceration, between talking about just the fact that you make these people ineligible to work certain jobs, make their lives a lot harder because of a plant, to the fact that you're taking fathers or mothers away from a family unit for an extended period of time, to the fact that jail is nowhere that any human should be, especially in the United States, because the conditions are deplorable, to the fact that um, black and brown people get persecuted more for cannabis, even though they use at the same rates as white people. Um, so that's all of problems. And so the fact that they are trying to give those people who have been directly affected by the policing of cannabis a chance will be amazing. I think is amazing. So I pulled up the requirements, and here are the requirements for the Cannabis Control Board conditional adult use retail dispensary license. So this is if you want to open a dispensary. This license authorizes the license holder to acquire, possess, sell, and deliver cannabis from a retail dispensary to consumers who are 21 and older. Make sure you only selling to people at 21 and older. And I am in no shape or form trying to tell you to sell unlicensed, unregulated cannabis or cannabis products to anyone. So please don't bring that on me to act like I did that, okay? So the first requirement is a significant presence in New York State. Um, I don't know exactly what that means. I guess they're gonna flesh that out later, but basically, you or your team or someone on your team must have some presence in New York State. So you can't be nobody who just didn't do anything. And I would suggest, like I always tell people, just to rewind real quick before I get too deep into this. If you are interested in getting in the cannabis space and you're like, damn, I don't know how to get in, I don't know what it is to do. First and foremost, understand there's three things you need to use to build anything in this life. It's connections, resources, and knowledge. I'm giving you the knowledge right now, okay? Um, Use the knowledge. Go on Google. Literally, the Cannabis Control Board puts all of their meetings on YouTube and on their website. Um, so you can study these things. Like, I'm not a genius by repeating things that the government tells me. I'm just giving you the information. So please, please, please don't feel any type of way. Just go get it. The second thing is connections. Use this connections. Use this time to find people who have significant experience in a presence in New York State, whether it be an influencer, whether it be some sort of activist, whether it be some sort of business owner, or anything like that, anyone that you know in your circles that could be a good asset to this, putting their name on the piece of paper and approach them with your deal. Like, hey, I want to get into the cannabis industry and I think that you can give me the leverage I need. Use your connections, and there you go. You get some resources, man. There's a lot of resources. New York State's actually going to be releasing a lot of resources to support the budding cannabis community, including a cannabis fund. So make sure that you do what you have to do to put yourself in position. So the first requirement is a significant presence in New York State. The second requirement is a majority of retail dispensary is owned and controlled by a justice involved person or people with qualified business ownership experience. All applicants must be 21 years of age, including any and all board members. That's number 3. Number 4 says all partners and members of the partnership or LLC must be citizens or permanent residents, or all officers in the majority, in terms of number, not ownership shares, of directors of a corporation must be U.S. citizens. So if it's an LLC, then all the members have to be U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Um, and if it's a corporation, then all the officers and majority of the number of people, not a majority of the shares, but like if you have 10 people on the board, at least 6 of them, majority, must, or of the directors of a corporation must be U.S. citizens. Got that. They also released, if you wanted to do it as a nonprofit organization, here's the requirements: a significant presence in New York State. The nonprofit organization is recognized as a 501c3, which means you have to have already filed that. The nonprofit is intentionally current or formerly incarcerated individuals, including justice involved individuals, communities with historically high rates of arrest, conviction, incarceration under indicators of law enforcement activity for marijuana related offenses. So that means, again, people who have been incarcerated or been affected by this. The nonprofit has a history of creating vocational opportunities for current and formerly incarcerated individuals, included justice involved individuals. The nonprofit organization has at least 5 full-time employees. The nonprofit is managed and operated as a profitable social enterprise for 2 or more years. All applicants must be 21 years of older, including the board, and same membership, citizenship. Applicants are eligible under the conditional adult use retail dispensary qualifying nonprofit criteria will not be eligible to receive dispensary location provided for by the fund. Basically saying that you have to have set up your own business. Basically, you cannot, when you're applying as a nonprofit, you have to have your own financial situation set up before you start applying, because they don't want, like, for obvious reasons of not having to deal with your financial burden, they want to make sure that you are capable of running your stuff, so that when they give you the license, you know what to do with it. Here are some definitions that they released. Justice involved means someone who's been convicted of marijuana related offense in New York State before 3/31/2021. So March, if you have any convictions before 3/31, which is March 31st of 2021, or is the spouse, child, legal guardian, or dependent of someone who is convicted with a marijuana related offense, individuals who can provide evidence they or their spouse, child, legal guardian, or defendant was arrested for a marijuana related offense are considered justice involved if they were ultimately convicted of a lesser offense, such as a non-drug offense violation or misdemeanor. Qualifying business ownership experience means the justice involved person must also have previous or current experience owning or controlling at least 10% of a business for at least 2 years. They must also show that the business was profitable during that 2 year period. So it's not just enough that you had 10% of the business, but that business has to been profitable. So if you was trying to start a business and you was trying to keep those numbers looking not so profitable for the purpose of tax breaks, this won't help you in this situation. I know a lot of people, whether purposefully because of tax advantages or actually because it's hard to run a business and turn a profit in the first couple of years, um, you unfortunately won't qualify. This needs to be a business that's been profitable for at least 2 years. Conditional use adult retail conditional adult use retail dispensary licensees have the same authorizations and conditions as an adult use dispensary is defined by the cannabis law and regulations promulgated by the Cannabis Control Board. Failing to comply with program will result in license deemed surrendered. So don't f- around and find out. What they telling you is have all your ducks in a row, because if they find out you're not playing, they're gonna take your license snatched. Which is something I want to tell people right off the bat. Please don't play with these licenses if you go and try to get them. Um, I have the way how I like to do these things, whether it's for cannabis license or any of the licenses or anything that you want to qualify for, make a checklist, find out all their requirements, make sure that you meet all the requirements before you apply so that you have the highest chance of being accepted, whether this be for a credit card, whether it be for a cannabis license, whether it be for an auto loan, a home loan, a bank draw, um, for a job interview, whatever the hell it is. Make sure you qualify yourself first before you go in there. Um, Not saying don't shoot your shot at certain stuff, but do the research and make sure you put all your ducks in a row, especially for this cannabis stuff, because this is New York State. Let's be real here. Black and brown people have been getting locked up in New York State for long as I don't know. New York State been around, and cannabis been around. And so we get a chance to, as all those who's been affected, because I've been arrested but never convicted, so I don't. This doesn't apply to me. Um, for cannabis related offensive, although I've been harassed so many times by the police, but that's not important. What is important is the police and the situation. I'm not the police. What is important is we get a chance to be the first to get in line for these licenses as they come out. And what's going to happen is once the period passes for releasing of these licenses in the first come, like it's not first come first serve, actually they actually don't want it to you to believe that's first come first serve. We have to rush. They want you, there's a opening period. I think it's 30 days. I will double check, but I think it's 30 days for you to apply for this, and it's not first come first serve. All applicants within the 30-day period will be reviewed, so please carefully go over your documents. Please do not rush. It's better to take time and even submit it on the last day than to and have all your ducks in a row than to submit it on the first day and have to refile, because then that will put you behind. But after all of these these first round people get their chances, New York State's gonna start opening up to the other side of New York, the Empire State of New York, and big players are going to come into this game. We big millionaires looking to cash in, billionaires looking to cash in, established companies looking to cash in, including the pharmaceutical industry, and those boys have big dollars in their pockets run real deep, and their connections run real strong, especially in the New York State legislative system and the legal system. So what I'm trying to say is, please understand that this is not a race to fight against this corner boy versus that corner boy, what block versus this block. Because at the end of the day, a company like MedMen, which is established in California, and many other companies, and already have medical marijuana dispensaries in New York State, all over, just waiting for their chance to use all of their resources to take as much market share as possible. So this is not a time to be competing with your neighbor. In fact, this is a time to be building with your neighbor and joining conglomerates and finding where you're sourcing your cannabis from, find where you are like getting your flour from, figuring out all these things now, because this is the chance, this is the time, to be honest, that the cannabis industry is opening up. We are literally living through the end of a prohibition. And I like to compare it to when alcohol um, was legalized again in the United States, and the companies that set themselves up back then, probably like all the liquor companies you know now, were able to establish themselves and having the market share, and a lot of those companies are still around today. And so you, as the interested budding entrepreneur in the cannabis industry, um, get a chance to witness and carve out your own space in a space where an entire market is being opened up. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, yo, I don't have 2 years of experience. Nobody told me this. How was I supposed to know? Remember, I don't know if you guys know, but the way how corporations work is doesn't need to be one person. In fact, you can own a certain percentage of said corporation or company. Um, and so you can leverage, whether it's your company or someone else's company, the community and togetherness you build and what you bring to the table. Because if I was gonna do this, let's say it's just me. Let's say I don't have the 2 years of the business. Let's say, I don't have the business experience for 2 years, but I know someone who has a business or experience for 2 years or 5 years, 7 years, and I approach them like, hey, if you are a 25% owner in my company, I will be able to do X, Y, and Z and create X, Y, and Z, and you'll be able to make a 25% return on your investment. All I need is your signature and your experience behind me. Boom. You approach 5 people with that, I'm pretty sure one of them going to take it if you have the right business plan. Oh, you're like, oh, well, I wasn't arrested, but again, they said that, you know, that person, they can have an X amount of share. So you can go to them like, hey, I know that you've been affected by this, and we get a chance to do something. And I've been setting up and working in the cannabis industry and trying to create a space. Would you like to come on board and bring your story to our enterprise? Boom, there you go, right there. There's a connection that you can use as a resource. Um, what else? What else? What else? Um, Not a U.S. citizen. I've dealt with that 99% of, 100% of my life, because I'm still not a U.S. citizen, but I'm a legal resident now. But like, yeah, most of my life in the United States, I wasn't a legal resident because unfortunately, the United States government does not like to legalize immigrants, no matter how hard we try. But what that means is I leverage. Hey, you were born here. You are my friend. You are my cohort. You are someone who believes in my abilities. How about you put your name on this paper, and you guys control the majority of this X, Y, and Z, and in exchange, I will do X, Y, and Z, and I'll provide my expertise, my work ethic, whatever it is to bring to this table so that we can get this done. That's what we do. We create coalitions, we create collaborations, we create cooperations. That's what corporations are. Cooperative agreements, literally. And so we get things done. That's how we do it. Um, People are like, oh, but I don't know where to start. I literally just told you where to start. So I hope that's not your excuse anymore. Let me actually pull up. Oh, I forgot some few requirements for the actual application. They have all this is listed on their website, so you could just go to NewYorkState.cannabis.gov, NYS.cannabis.gov, please, or just Google New York cannabis, please. Come on, It's 2021, 2022. See, that's how bad it was. It was 2021 last year. If y'all couldn't do this last year, y'all should be doing it now. Number one for the requirement is pri- applicant primary contact information. Come on, I'm pretty sure you can provide that. Two, applicant ownership and financial disclosure information, including submission of organizational structure documents, organizational charts, capitalization tables, ownership structures, and disclosures of any sources or proposed capital sources of capital. If you need help with that and you're listening to the show, please contact me. I will help you organize all of those documents. Literally, I love doing business plans, business charts. Um, that's what I started on. So, yeah. Or you can contact Dime. She's also really great at that stuff. Or you could go on Google and learn all that stuff yourself, please, because I'm not going to charge your arm and a leg because I don't want to set you up for failure. But there's a lot of people that would take advantage of you. So learn it yourself if you're not going to willing to shell out the bread to do it. Three, documentation proving the applicant meets eligibility criteria for the conditional adult use recreational dispensary. Um, Include a documentation of the justice involved individual's address at time of such conviction or arrest. For application at attestation. Hold up. Application attestation, basically meaning that you got to prove that this application is a real application. Um, and number five is submission of non-refundable license and application fee of $2,000. And there it is, folks. There's your dollar amount. The bottom of the dotted line. It's only $2,000. That's not the worst. Everybody's all worried it's going to be $20,000, $200,000. It's $2,000. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to get it, but I mean, it was going to have a dollar amount, and you got to play. I mean, this is New York State. They're giving you a chance at the market before everyone else is. So yeah, that's $2,000. That's it. And to apply, all applications must be submitted online. You just go to ny.gov and create an account. And then after you apply, just log into, check the status. It's right there on the phone. I can't see it because, sorry guys, but you can look it up. It's not that simple, not that hard. It's not at all. Yeah, I'm not gonna read the rest of that to you because you can do your own homework and read things off a site. I believe in you guys. I believe in you. And you know who I'm really excited about this? Because for all my women out there, this is really your chance to shine because the cannabis industry has been predominantly male and white male. And when it's not white male, it's very whitewashed cannabis women. Not anything against white women, but that's just the industry. And then we do have black males joining in the industry, but we don't see any representation for black women as much in the cannabis industry, in a lot of industries, but definitely the cannabis industry. And so, women, this is your chance. This is your chance because the plant is female. And it's your chance because, in my experience of dealing with the women in the cannabis industry versus men in the cannabis industry, women just take their time and build such beautiful and amazing products. You guys take your time and put thought and love into your packaging, into your product, into the experience you're trying to create. And so I look forward to watching you guys really impact this industry so beautifully because I mean my favorite thing to say is the plant is female. So why are we having a bunch of males running around dictating? But I mean we also come on, man. Men have been in charge for way too long about things that haven't been fixed. So let's fix that. Um, and so, for those that don't know, we have Cannabaddies, which is a cannabis lifestyle brand for women, based here in New York State. But we also are in other states. We're in Las Vegas. We're in Oregon. We're in Atlanta, and we are in Philadelphia, yeah, Pennsylvania. So connect with us. It's a community for cannabis loving women to have a safe space to connect with each other, to have a space to connect with the industry and learn about the cannabis industry and learn about the cannabis experience, to feel confident while doing it and to break stigmas because um, I don't know why it's this big old 2022 and we're judging people for using cannabis, especially women, when men get away with using it a lot more. Not black people, unfortunately, because stigmas and stuff. But we get to break those stigmas and feel confident and sexy and amazing while doing it, and connect with other like-minded women who are also in this space and changing the space. And shout out to all the amazing women I know on my team, a part of this journey, a part of our network. It's just it's an amazing thing to watch all of the amazing women that I have the opportunity of working with and help uplift with our platform. Um, from all over the industry, people that are growers, people that are bud tenders, people who have their own edible companies, people who work in the science part of cannabis, people who work in the legal part of cannabis, people who work in the consumption part of cannabis, in the extraction part of cannabis, in the business side of cannabis. There's so many different avenues, so many different lanes that exist, that are coming to existence in this cannabis space. And it is a beautiful time to be alive. It's a beautiful time to see it all, to be a part of it all. And I really hope that you, whoever the listener is, gets to really take advantage of that. Because, like as I said, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to watch a market literally are born right in front of you. Especially in the time right now where financial hardship is getting really high, inflation is really high, um, the opportunities for advancing your money is really low when you don't have strong capital. No, not really low. There's a lot of opportunity when you know where to look. Um, but unfortunately, they're not. All the opportunities are not just readily available and handed out to you. But if you know where to look, you can find it. Um, but yeah, point being, is that it is a beautiful time to take advantage of that, and you should in all shapes or forms of it. And even if it's not just opening a dispensary, because in New York State, I'm gonna tell you all the different types of licenses. And the reason why I'm looking this up because I want you to know that it's not just owning a dispensary. Here are all the licenses that will be released. There are cultivator licenses, meaning you get to grow the plant. There's processing licenses, which means you're in charge of taking the plant and getting it ready from the grower to the shelves. There's a co-op, which means that it's a worker-owned cooperative organization. There's a distributor. There's the retail dispensary. There's a micro business license. There's delivery license. There's nursery, and there's on-site consumption. So there are, sorry. I mean, you can literally Google New York adult use cannabis licenses, and these are all the licenses that will be released in New York State. So take advantage of one of them or more of them, because please, 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 they are coming out. This is the first time in history in New York State that such a thing is happening, and you can get in where you fit in. Even you can become the Uber of cannabis. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, because I'm not going to be here 2 years from now, 3 years from now, telling you to still do it, because me and those that listen would have already done it. So either you're going to win with us or watch us win. And that's the lesson for today. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me ramble. If you stayed on for this long, I really, really, really appreciate you. Um, I love talking about cannabis. I love talking in general. That's why I'm on this radio show. So thank you all for being here. This has been a fun experience. Um, Next week I will be back. I think Don will be back, and we'll have another guest. Stay tuned for Kanika next on the show. To find me, I am Vijano. I hope you know that by now. If not, I'm Vijano Alexander, aka King Cosmic, and you can find me at VE_JANO on Instagram. Um, I don't really use other social medias. I mean, there's Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook. I'm tired of people adding me on Facebook. Add me on Instagram, VijanoAlexander@gmail.com. If you want The Making Mogul Show, follow The Making Mogul Show on Instagram, on Facebook, or everywhere else. And reach out. Reach out if you need any help getting in this cannabis game, because I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it Captain French. I'm out. Xtreme 104 FM. It's your boy. Later. Oh, I guess I'm not out. And now I'm out. Bye.